Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Home Staging Talk Show Live. I'm Jenny Norris, your host, and I am the chairwoman of the International Association of Home Staging Professionals, president and CEO of StagedHomes.com, the world's largest home staging training organization or company, and owner of Sensational Home Staging here in Denver. So many hats I wear. Coming to you live from Littleton, Colorado, where I live, and happy to have you joining us this morning. I am streaming live to two different platforms. So one is our Home Staging Talk page, and the other one is the Home Staging Talk group. So because of that, I don't know if you post something who you are. So please sign your messages or post whatever you put into the online, and so I can respond and welcome you to the show. So I'm going to close that out here. Okay, good. So make sure you can assign anything you post online. Let me know you can hear me. We've got a great show for you today. I'm going to be sharing a new company that I have learned about. They're not necessarily new, but it's just new to me as far as learning about. That could be a really great resource for stagers wherever you live. And so we'll be having them join us as a guest. But before that, like always, I like to make announcements. And so first of all, I'm going to show this. Our February magazine is out. IAHSP magazine February issue will be emailed to all of our members, current members today. So make sure to check your email for that. And some links will be shared on our private groups as well. But it is a members only publication. We have been doing this now since November of 2020 was our first inaugural issue. And so all of our issues you can take a look at on our membership portal through IAHSP. You log in, you go to the archive link, and I know the site doesn't look as pretty as it can. We're working on that because I like visual. But anyhow, you go to the archive, you click on the magazine, IAHSP magazine, and it'll take you to all the issues. And they're really full of really great information. And so what my goal is to sort of synthesize and give a synopsis of pertinent information that we like to hear about or know about. And so, like, for example, this month's issue is all about loving what we do. And of course, we love this business, and harkens back to all the classes I've attended through the years with Barb, and she'd have everybody raise their hands and say, we love this business. And you have to love what you do. And we don't always feel that way every single day. Somebody posted in one of our Facebook groups yesterday about challenges they were having, and how they were kind of discouraged, really, and didn't know if they should continue on a path when so many signs were pointing to them not being successful. And what I shared is everybody has challenges. I shared that 90 days in, I thought maybe staging wasn't going to take off where I lived, and because it was brand new, nobody was doing it at all. It was zero. This is 20 years ago. And I thought maybe I should just pursue something else and quit this path, because I literally had marketed, I had done everything, and nothing was really happening. And the next day, I literally said to my husband, some of you have heard the story, I don't think stage is going to take off here. And literally the next day, got a call from a realtor that he had actually contacted, and we set up a meeting. And then she was very kind and said, I want to help you. I like you. Introduced me to her office manager. And from there, the referral and the relationships, everything sort of took off. So had I given up, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have impacted all the people that I have with, helping them sell their houses and doing what I love, being creative and ultimately helping people. So, but on social media, what I put in there is we get snippets and snapshots of each other's lives. We're not walking every second in each other's lives. So most of us don't put out all the junk that we're dealing with. I mean, sometimes we'll put out our challenges and so forth to trusted colleagues, but for the most part, we're posting how great our houses look and successes and so forth that we have. And I feel that it sort of is a disservice to those who are newer, who wonder, man, did these people ever struggle? Because, Facebook didn't exist when I got started. 20 years ago, the internet was relatively new. And back then it was MySpace. Those of you who remember MySpace as a platform, that predicated Facebook. But Twitter, Facebook, all the social media things did not exist. And so the way we shared was we had a website, of course, and then a lot of in person. But with filters and so forth, even on photos, we don't look the way we normally look. Now, this is how I look. I don't have a filter on, but I did do hair and makeup. And when I stage, I don't look like this normally. Because I'm working and I'm going to sweat, and it's not glamorous, but it is satisfying. And so those of you that are newer that are watching, just, hang in there and, find a mentor. Our IAHSP association has chapters. There's a lot of really good camaraderie and networking and support that goes on through those. That's why they were formed. And I started the very first chapter in 2003 in Sacramento, where I started my very first company, because I felt there was power in numbers and banding together for support. So if you're out there watching this and you don't have that, it's easy to find colleagues, even on our home staging professionals group. If you're not a member, join that. There are a lot of really good discussions. And then find local stagers in your area. And quite honestly, if you're in an area where stagers are not getting together or not helping each other, or have a feeling of like, well, you're my competition, so I'm not going to talk to you, that's just stupid in my opinion. And you can get mad at me if you want to, if you don't agree, but I think it's dumb, because one person entering the business is not going to make that big of a dent in your income in your company. And if it does, you're not doing a good job marketing and cultivating those client relationships, because somebody cannot come in and take a client from you unless you open that door. And the way we open the door is if we're not responsive, we're not service oriented, we haven't reached out in a while, it's like out of sight, out of mind. It could be, maybe your pricing has to adjust for the market. I don't know. But the fact is that we can't live in fear of other stagers entering the market. And the fact is we need them, because we want the business and the industry to continue forward. And if we have an attitude of not being welcoming or feeling in fear that somebody's going to take business from me if I share the secrets of staging, and the fact is, what secrets are you talking about? What is it that you do that's so secretive that nobody else has ever done it ever before? And I'm going to tell you that there are no secrets in staging. There are different processes people might put together. People have learned how to be more efficient so they can make more profit in their stagings and so forth. But there just isn't that many secrets. There's books written about staging, the process, how to price, etc. It's out there. So I feel like some people have to get over themselves about welcoming some of the newer people into the industry. Now, I will say there are those people that we have made investments in our education, in our business from the beginning or along the way, because we realized we didn't know everything, and education helps shorten our journey. So if you are out there and wanting to sponge information from people who are helpful, that's not really what this is about. It's more about helping give mentoring and guiding, but not telling you everything about running your business. If you have all those questions, take a course. And in fact, leads me to my next little thing here. If you are looking for a staging course, let's see, is this the right one? Yes. These are some marketing pieces put out. StageTums.com is the world leader in staging education, and there are a lot of really great courses out there. This is the one, of course, that I'm going to promote, because not only is the one I took, but it's also the company that I run as far as education goes. But, pro stagers can earn 5 to 7 figures. Did you know that? We work part-time or part-time, and pro stagers, home stagers, have flexible schedules. So those are looking to turn your passion into profit, and you need to know how to make money and to run a successful business. Do yourself a favor, get education. The courses are anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. That might seem like a lot of money, but when you understand how to price your services properly, you'll earn that money back in short order. Hi, Julie. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for joining. And you'll shorten your business growth and learning curve greatly, and you won't struggle. And so there are 3 ways to learn: live virtual classroom with a trainer that you can see, they can see you, live and in person. Locations that are opened up are Boston, Nashville, Tennessee, Northern Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia. Those are the 4 locations, in Rhode Island. Hopefully we're going to be teaching live there. But the virtual in person is a live course. And then there's a self-paced webinar for those of you who want to just take it at your own pace. So educate is so important. In fact, in our February magazine, the featured interview is with a realtor who has earned 17 different designations and credentials, and a lot of them are through IAHSP. And so I said, when I saw his signature with all these things, I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him if he would just be a little featured person in our magazine, because that's not as common to see that many credentials. And he's not just an education junkie. He runs a successful business. But it's important for us to understand, why is education important? Why should you take a class maybe on luxury staging or investor staging or short-term rental or working with seniors? And it's because we don't know it all. And being able to learn, it either validates what you think you know. I'm like, okay, that's great, I'm on the right track. Or even if you take one or two things away from a course to help you better your business, it's totally worth it. And these courses, they're not expensive. They're like, 175, 150 for the niche services. So, of course, I'm a big advocate of education. And for realtors that are watching, you also need education on how to use staging as a key listing and marketing tool. Somebody put in one of the groups about the word stagent, STAGENT. Hey, Jennifer, stagent. And these are agents that decide they want to stage their own properties. And there's no law against that. There's no rules against it. But from a business standpoint, it is not a wise decision, because time is the great equalizer. And we all only have 24 hours in a day. And our work day, is, let's say, 10 to 12 hours of that. And you're taking your time as an agent to go drag furniture in, or, zhuzh a house, or move things around. You already have the listing. So now you're taking extra time to do things in that property, when you really, from a business coaching standpoint or mentoring, should, and I don't really use that word all the time, but you really should be making more calls for business, networking, getting referrals, whatever, getting another listing, versus spending time. And I use that word on purpose. Spending is wasteful. Investment yields a return, but you're spending time in a property when you really should be marketing yourself to get more business and bring in a professional stager. We don't charge as much as your time is worth as a realtor. And you will make far more money listing and selling a house than you ever will trying to save money staging it yourself. And so we want you to outsell, outsmart, and out-earn your competition, and use staging as a listing tool, a marketing tool to get the business and get more business than you have now, and to make more money ultimately, because a staged house always sells for more than its or non-staged competition. And those stats are out there. They are real. So if you're watching this and you're like, I want credentials that set me apart from my competition, take the ASP Real Estate Partner course, and you won't regret it. It's a great course, and it has two elements to it. The first one is the staging and selling cycle. So we break down the 4 phases of a cycle for marketing your business, where you use staging as a way to differentiate yourself from your competition. So you'll learn specifically how to do that and the steps and so forth. And then that's a 1-day course, and it's a designation. You get added resources to the Staging University. You get continuing education in a lot of the states where we teach, but it's not just 3 hours or somebody's up there tooting their horn about their business and giving you like a little snippet of what staging is. It's really all about you. It's not about the person in front of the room trying to get your business. It's all about you. And then the half-day course is all about concepts, strategies, and color, where we talk about color trends and curb appeal and other things for half a day to give you some added knowledge so that you are able to speak to your clients. But the goal is that time is valuable, time is precious, and you have professionals. If you're a realtor listening to this, you have your, title rep and your lender, you've got your appraiser, your photographer, and so forth. Have your stager too on your team. And certainly there's times where you don't necessarily need to bring a person in, but get yourself out of the hot seat, use your time more effectively, and get a stager to partner with that you trust. And where you find them, there's directories on IAHSP and also on stagedhomes.com to find a pro. And so, that's super, super important as your business grows. I want to share that we are teaching the ASP course will be taught in Brazil to stagers. It's March 12th and 13th. I hope I have those dates right. And March 11th, there's a special event in Brazil. And so Paloma Harrington, I'm hoping she's going to be a guest on our show next week. She's from the UK, runs the Home Staging Association there. She is from Brazil. She's actually Polish, but she's from Brazil. So she speaks like multiple languages, which I'm always so impressed about. But she's teaching the class there with another gal, Alice. And it'll be a great course. And we're definitely going to be helping, encouraging, and help these stagers in Brazil grow their businesses to new success. Hi, Catherine. Miss you, Mama Swan. So that's March 12th and 13th. So, give a little shout out. Let's support our colleagues across the pond and in South America, different places where they are working to grow, because they are, they're years behind the U.S. as far as awareness and knowledge of staging, and we want to definitely support them. Okay, so, and with that, let's show this. The Portugal conference is coming up May 28th and 29th. So this is the only IAHSP conference in 2022. We might do something like a mini event or something mid-year, but I want to encourage all of you to register and go support our colleagues in Europe at this great conference. And they have wonderful speakers lined up. So it's a one-day conference, Friday, and then Saturday is a designation that's being taught, the senior staging specialist. So June Carter will be there. I'm planning on going, barring any sort of, you can't travel from governments, et cetera. Right now, I did look at the Portugal, because a lot of the countries are lifting their COVID mandates. Some of them are completely eradicated. They're like, we're done. So no more masks, no more testing, no more nothing, which is awesome. Again, let's free up the world. Let's get back to life. And so with Portugal, when I looked, coming from the US, for example, I think you have to show a negative COVID test 24 hours before you get on the plane. And of course, coming back to the US, it's the same. And then you say where you're staying and so forth. And if you're not vaccinated, I think every few days you have to do a test. I'm not really sure about that, but I saw two conflicting reports. And so I'm trying to find the most recent information. But what I'm seeing is that countries are lifting a lot of these mandates where you have to continually test and so forth, because the latest strains are just like the flu. They're not as intense. And Spain, for example, has lifted everything. So there's about 12 different countries now that have lifted all mandates. So I'm hoping that Portugal lifts. That'll free up the ability to get there. Let's support our colleagues in Portugal. Plus, it's a gorgeous place to go. Right on the water. It's in Lisbon. So we're excited. And again, excellent topics for speaking. They always line up really great speakers from all over Europe, and, different topics that'll help people really grow their business. So we are excited to share that with you. And speaking of conferences, how many of you saw this? This is our theme for our 2023 IAHSP Family Reunion Conference and Expo. And if you notice the dates, it's February 24th to the 26th in New Orleans. Yay! The Big Easy. So we are coming to New Orleans, and I wanted to show this because I don't know if I have played this one for you guys. Show on stream. Let's get here. So what is one of the benefits of moving our conference to the late winter, early spring is it opens up other parts of the country to us to be able to go to. So New Orleans is the location. We're really looking forward to it. I haven't been in New Orleans in a really long time. So the Big Easy is going to be welcoming all of us there. And so call for speakers won't come out until the summer. We do have our masquerade, Mardi Gras masquerade ball. And I did want to kind of talk about the theme, the greatest show. We talk about staging, at least my business. We talk about, let's go to the show, or something like a piece of furniture. It gets to go to the show today. So we're putting it in a property. And so we kind of use that term. Well, the Greatest Showman movie, when it came out, I didn't go to the theater and watch it because I thought it's a musical, but that's going to be sort of lame. And I regret not seeing it on the big screen because it's an amazing movie and so inspiring. And so many things from that movie are applicable to our business and our journey. And so that's why we have intermixed it, because it is a greatest business. It's the greatest show. We have the greatest opportunity to be successful, the flexibility and so forth. But so many of the things, being who we are, being genuine, following our passion, not getting distracted by things that take us off track, finding our heart, finding our way back into success, being around people who support us for who we are. I love it because there were a bunch of misfits and oddball people that came together and they had this wonderful experience, and they could call themselves a family with P.T. Barnum. And it's a real story. It's a true story about his life. And so that was my inspiration for putting this together, and the other leaders and so forth. We had different things we kind of tossed around, but that's why it's the greatest show. So the topics will sort of relate somewhat to that theme. If you know our conferences in the past, we do have our topics that speak to or tied to the theme for the conference. And then our Masquerade Mardi Gras Gala Awards and Dinner, you could wear a mask, you could wear beads, you could put a costume on, you could come as one of the characters from The Greatest Showman. You don't know who's going to show up there. We're going to have fun. And so the awards, that piece won't be announced until probably November. We'll put out the call for nominations and so forth. So look for that. So the timing for a lot of our things is changing because we did move our conference to late winter, early spring. Our Best of Home Staging will still be in the summer. So that is recognition for industry professionals in 3 different areas. And then the awards for specific staging, vacant, occupied, best team, and so forth. That is always at the conference. The awards are given out, and that will not happen now until about November for nominations. So make sure to look for that. We are looking at this hotel here, the Sheraton. That should be our headquarter hotel. I don't have the room block and things quite set up yet because we're still working on the contract, but that is our goal. It is right downtown in the French Quarter, beautiful hotel. They've got a really great lobby with a big, huge bar and tables. They're open till, I said, how late are you open? Because a couple of our locations, the bar's like shut down early. And she's like, the lady we're dealing with, she goes, Jenny, this is New Orleans. The city stays open. And so to the wee hours, people could be in there chatting and having fun and getting to know each other, which is great. And so look for that information as it comes out. And the last thing I wanted to show is this. Clusive is a new partner with IAHSP, and it's a way, we'll just watch the video and then I'll share a little bit of a synopsis with you. Let's see here. Get back over. Whoops.
Well, to come out of nowhere.
I gotta go to the start. Go backwards. Okay, here we go.
Of the 3 T's: your time, your talent, and your treasure.
Oops,
and
something happened. Sorry. All right, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to keep playing. This happened before.
Your success as a home staging professional is fueled by the investments you put into it. Of course, we're talking about investments of the 3 T's: your time.
All right, let me try to get this going again. It started midway instead of at the very beginning. Okay, show and stream. Okay, here we go. This should work now.
Your success as a home staging professional is fueled by the investments you put into it. Of course, we're talking about investments of the 3 T's.
Well, the wording's off, but that's okay.
And your treasure.
Of course, we're talking about
so many
investments
things
of
going
the
on
3
in your
T's.
business.
Your
When
time,
something necessary
your
to
talent,
advancing your success
and your treasure.
seems to come out of
And
nowhere,
with so many
it
things
can be
going
really
on in your
frustrating when it
business,
feels like a
when something
strain
necessary
on your
to
bank
advancing
account.
your success seems to
Consequently,
come
this
out of
can make a
nowhere.
worthwhile
It can
investment
be really frustrating when
instead
it feels like
feel
a
like a
strain
burdensome
on your
expense.
bank account.
We want to make sure
This can
the
make a
investments
worthwhile
you make
investment
through us
instead
are
feel
always
like a
worth your
burdensome
time,
expense.
talent, and
We
treasure.
want to make sure the
To that
investments
end,
you make
we
through
now have a
us
financially
are
savvy way
always
for you to
worth your
prepare
time,
in
talent,
advance.
and
For
treasure.
all the conference, the
The investments
investments
you make
through
through
us
us
are
are always worth your time, talent,
and
and treasure.
To that
To that
end,
end,
we
now
now
have a financially savvy way for you to prepare in advance
for
for
all the
conferences
and
and educational events you want to attend,
courses
courses
you
you want to take,
and
and wholesale inventory you want to purchase. It's a unique payment program that enables you to plan out your purchase of everything you need without being subjected to a credit check, being charged interest, or incurring unwanted debt. For example, for any of our courses you anticipate taking in the future, you can plan ahead and break up the tuition fee into smaller, more manageable payment installments. Or, if you're looking to be a vendor at one of our upcoming events, you can pay for your sponsorship level over several months leading up to it. As the largest and longest running home staging industry trade association, we value your membership. And so we're continually searching for new, innovative ways to support your success with us.
So don't
Don't
wait.
wait.
The
The sooner you sign up, the sooner you can get started on expanding the growth and revenue potential of your home staging.
So, Jennifer, thank you for letting me know. I guess there was an echo on the sound, but anyway, Clusive is a way for you to, it's kind of like the layaway program, but those of you that remember in stores, and you could put something on layaway and pay it off over time. This is a way for you to save up in a method that doesn't, there's no credit check. It's not anything like that, but it's basically a platform that allows you to put money away for things that you want to save for. And it's not like super, I mean, you can access it. So it's not like you can't get your money, but it's not, readily accessible, so that, if you're saving up for something, the temptation is, oh, well, I'll use it to pay for something else, and then I'll start saving up again, or I'll only take this and I'll put it right back. And so sometimes we don't do that. And then the event comes and you don't have the funds for the airfare and the hotel and different things you really wanted to attend. So this is a way for you to budget and plan for that. And also for wholesale purchases with our vendors. And so being able to save up, chunks of money and set that aside, and then know you have that money available to buy things. And so take a look at the program. If you want more information, just let us know. But I think it's important for people to, I don't want to recommend loading up credit cards and so forth to attend an event. It's like budget along the way. Set aside certain dollar amounts from every one of your stagings, perhaps, or monthly. Just create a pot of money that then you have available for you to be able to use to pay for things. And nobody's making interest off your money. That's not the goal. Is basically to help people who might have challenges planning financially to have a vehicle that allows them to put smaller amounts of money away, and then you have it available for what you wanted to use it for. So, all right, with that, let's bring on our special guests for today. And here we go. I'm going to unmute. It should give you guys the countdown. Hey.
Hey.
Good morning.
Danny, nice to meet you. How's it going?
Good. So I heard, let people, so this is James Eberhard. He's with Fluid Truck Share. So let people introduce yourself, let people know where you're coming to me from, and a little bit about your company.
Awesome. Here, am I muted, or can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Hey, so as Jay just mentioned, I'm Jimmy Eberhard. I'm the founder and CEO of Fluid Truck. Fluid Truck is a technology-based rental platform that allows people to rent commercial vehicles through their phone, just as easy as like you would do as booking an Uber. So we operate in 40 markets around the country, and we have hundreds of trucks in every market. So you can go get cargo vans, box trucks, anything that you need to move and set up staging. So say, for example, you were staging a house and you needed to load up, a big box truck. You can rent that in a matter of a couple minutes and use it for the day, use it for the week, use it for a couple hours. And really, we're just creating a technology platform for grabbing commercial vehicles so you don't have to own them.
So, and is Ellen there with you, or Jill? No, what's her name? Sorry, Emily.
Emily. Yeah, Emily's right here with me.
I knew it was an E name. I love that name, Emily. And not that this is just disrespects you at all. It was my favorite girl name. I named my first female cat Emily. She was such a sweetheart. So Fluid Truck Share. So for people that are sort of like, what? I don't understand. Don't, because most of us, if we've rented trucks, we've done it through the U-Haul platform or Penske or Budget or whatever. And so how do you differ from them? I'm already hearing the immediate availability and access. And I had looked into somewhat with Fluid Share before we moved our warehouse. The trucks are parked all over the place. So they're in various lots. It's not in one place you have to go to. So the convenience factor, being able to locate a vehicle near where you are, near where you need it, that's a differentiating factor too. But kind of tell us the selling points that differentiate you from what we're normally used to doing.
So what you do is you go onto the App Store, download the Fluid Truck app, and then you can see where all the trucks are around you in any area. And off that, instead of, traditionally, as you kind of think about the way you've rented trucks in the past, where you go usually between the hours of 9 to 5 and wait in line, and then you go through a paper checkout process. Here, download the app, you look for the closest truck to you, you book it, and you say, I want to use this truck from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. You go through where the truck's located at, which you see off the application. You show up for the vehicle, you go through a short inspection, and you're on your way. So
are the trucks
down from hours to check out a vehicle to a matter of a couple minutes?
Which is great. And especially if you're like, a truck breaks down, that like we have a truck that we lease. If that truck breaks down, then I'm like, crap, I got to go U-Haul. I got to get one of their trucks. Last truck I had to rent from them. As soon as I pull away, I'm driving along, and then the check engine light, something comes on. I'm like, they sent me a broken truck, and I don't want to be on the side of the road with a broken truck. And so they had to send a service guy out, and he managed to get it fixed, but it delays stuff. And so are your trucks, who maintains the fleet? Because I know it's not just trucks, you're talking vans and other smaller vehicles. And then when I pick up the truck, is it gassed up or is it on empty? So how does that all work?
So when you show up to the vehicle, you'll go through that inspection and on there. And so the vehicles, you have to bring it back with the same level of fuel on there. But you always find that, traditionally you'll see the trucks on full, but you may see them up to a half a tank. So we automatically go out there and fill them if they ever go below a half tank on there. But the trucks are all maintained through our service network. And I mean, what you'll find is you're not dealing with the older class of vehicles like you do with the U-Haul. All of our trucks are within the last 3 years. So U-Haul will keep trucks in their fleet for, I think it's up to 10 years.
Hang on, just like you keep talking. I just noticed, never mind. Our dog, my nephew's dog was at the door and I thought she was by herself, but he just walked in with her. So I was like, Cammy's on the list. Okay. Yeah. So the fluid truck shares. So they're all newer, which is really nice. So they're not necessarily going to break down. And you said 40 markets, you're all in all the major cities. What is your pricing structure like? How does that work?
So if you're running by the hour, you may, it depends on the vehicle, of course, but you can rent by the hour. And so like $9 an hour for a truck, or you can rent by the day, which prices will go from, for like a large cargo van, $69 to, $95 for the day. And so all the vehicles include mileage as well. So, you have one price you pay. You're not looking at like I'm paying $1, $2 for every mile I drive. It's all included. You get 100 miles included for the day.
Nice. So what's your biggest truck size? Do you go up to 26 feet or?
Yep. We have everything from a 26-foot box truck all the way down to a cargo van. So.
Wow. So, which is great. And I'm really liking this because there's even times where I don't want to send our big truck. Like we had a D stage it was just accessories, artwork, and decor. We didn't have any furniture. So I'm like, I'm not going to send the guys in the truck with the gas and the fuel and stuff up there. So then it's about sending a team member with a vehicle. But if their vehicle can't fit it all, then we have to send two. So it just becomes inefficient. But if they had a way to get like a little van, they could just dart up there, get the stuff, and then drop. Do you have to drop it off at the same place where you picked it up?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say I have a 26-foot truck or 20-footer and I pick it up from a location near me and then I return it back there. Is that truck going to be at that location every time, or does it ever go someplace else? Yeah, I mean, typically the trucks stay in the set locations where they live across the city, and you'll find them, retail centers, you'll find them in industrial areas, you'll find them in car share parking in the city. So, I mean, we have a wide variety, but we try to really give you the capacity to go out there and have spare use capacity. If you need a 26-foot truck in the morning, you can go check it out, use it for 3 hours. And then if you need a small van in the afternoon, you go swap into a smaller vehicle. And I mean, really by enabling through the app to go check out, unlock the vehicle, it really gives you the ability to do it 24 hours a day. So you're not waiting to 9 a.m. when the U-Haul opens up, or you're doing it on a Saturday because on Sunday they're closed. And so giving that flexibility. So if you need to get it at 6 a.m. in the morning, or you're doing it late on a Sunday where no one's open, it gives you that 24-hour, 7 days, 365 days a year access.
So I put the website up there, fluidtruck.com. So those of you that are watching, we opted to lease a truck, and I'm not necessarily locked into it. We're like painting as I go, and I like having my own truck. There's, those of you that don't want to make that investment and you've been sort of like at the mercy of delivery companies or rental agencies, this is an awesome opportunity. So how did you, Jim, how did you call yourself Jimmy or James?
Jimmy, yeah.
Jimmy. Jim, how did you come up with this idea?
I mean, we started off as a platform for community sharing. So you could rent all kinds of stuff like tools, trucks, party equipment. And we just kept on seeing this crazy use case of, business owners, like the people in your association that, need a truck. And we start having businesses start using it. And we just saw the huge demand out there and the huge need for it. And so we focused in on trucks, and we built a national platform to go out there and provide access, whether it be for a couple hours, whether it be a couple days, whether it be weeks or months, for people to go out there and get the right vehicle for the right job.
And then, so in a major city, so I'm in Denver. Where are you located? Are you in Denver?
Our headquarters is in Denver, Colorado. So we started here in Colorado in 2016, and we built out across the nation here over the last 5, almost 6 years.
And I'll give a shout out to Joseph Hecker, good old Joe, the connector. which I know you guys met him. So he lives in Denver, and he's a, part of our IHOS family as well. We love Joe, but that's, I had reached out to you guys in the past, and it wasn't you, it was somebody else. It was the same company, but the rep that I was dealing with, it just didn't kind of manifest. And so when he asked to have, he was like, you guys should get connected. I'm like, well, I was familiar with their company, but you guys, the iteration has definitely changed as far as how you operate. And in a city, how many locations in a city the size of Denver do you is typical as far as like where these vehicles are located? Because I know stagers are probably thinking like, well, I live in the suburbs, or what if there's 10 stagers, we're all trying to get a truck, and is there enough?
I mean, like every market will have hundreds of trucks. So
Okay.
I mean, there's great supply on there. I mean, we are in some cities where only been in there for months or a couple of years, so we're still building up the inventory. So we're continuing to add more and more vehicles every month in every market. But on there, you can see what's available. It's around you, and we're definitely growing as a company and adding more vehicles. But typically, if you're in a metro area, you'll have trucks around you within a few miles.
That's awesome. I love it. And so, because I've seen like the car shares idea, like you take a car, you drive it. I don't think you have to bring the car back to the same spot, but you have to kind of like wherever you park it. So it's kind of like that kind of concept, but being able to have access to vehicles that we need to run our business. And, the challenges that most stagers as we grow face are logistics. And so being able to, get to point A to point B, serve our clients, be there on time. And when stuff happens, those people who had trucks break down, the engine stops working. That's one of the reasons why I like leasing versus owning. And then even renting, because I'm not responsible for the truck. If the tire goes flat or something happens, I just send it back. I'm like, you guys fix it, because I don't want to deal with that burden. And, some people might disagree with me, like owning a truck is, you should do that because it's a company asset or whatever. But the fact is that I'm not a mechanic, and I really don't want to deal with all that. So most stagers are probably, especially if they're new or they're like me, but this gives them an opportunity to be able to work more efficiently, not ruin our vehicles. And the most stuff that I have stuffed into my cars over the years, couches. I used to be able to stage, like I had a big SUV, an Expedition, and I could throw a love seat in there. It was just back when it was like 19 years ago, but I could, put a couch and stuff a love seat in there, chairs and so forth. But I would scratch the header. I would do so. My husband would get so mad at me, and we don't have to do that anymore. So this is so great. And fluidtruck.com, and the app, is it on both Android and iPhone?
Yep, it's both on the Google Play Store and the App Store for Apple.
And we would also, I don't know, Krista Jessup is our vendor, VP of vendor relations. So we want to definitely talk to you about being an official vendor with IHOSP, and, have some different perks and stuff for our members, because I think this is really, really important just as a resource for people as they grow. And then, something like this, you don't have to go and look at, I have to get a truck or buy a truck or invest in that. That's a 6-figure investment for most people.
Well, and it's also another job too. I mean, doing the maintenance, managing it, buying, selling the vehicle, doing the warranty repair, when recalls come. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. And so as we've talked to small business owners out there, they buy a truck because it's such a pain to rent one. Yeah. And we've just taken that complexity, that hassle of renting a truck, and made it be as easy as you can book an Uber. And off that, it is pretty revolutionary when you can say, okay, I need a truck. I'm going to book it here in an hour, and then go run, do the job, and bring it back. And then you're not worried about, okay, there was an accident on this, or there's a warranty claim on this, or I have to go back and get the oil change, or, when do I change the tires? And so we just alleviate that. And so you have an asset you can use. It can be a small truck, a big truck, a really big truck. And it's all accessible to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
And I love that they're newer too, because the last U-Haul that I rented, it was like a Calistoga wagon. The suspension on the thing was shot. I mean, you felt every bump in the road, everything. I'm literally like bouncing along with the suspension, and it was just like body jarring. And that's not an unusual experience for them. And so just knowing that the trucks are well maintained. We've had trucks that we've rented that had bald tires. We slid off the road in the ice. I mean, all sorts of things. Those of you that have had rented trucks, all the nightmares that we experience. And so I love that this is an option. The pricing is amazing. I have to share that with you. That's going to be a big, big selling feature, because the cost for a stager, people that have truck in-house, it's about $600 round trip to have that truck on the road, movers and so forth. The cost to run that vehicle with fuel and so forth, that would be pretty much reduced in a lot of ways with your model, because you're not having to pay for all that maintenance and so forth. And so outside of the convenience factor of having a truck parked outside a warehouse or something that's your own or your branded vehicle, this is a really great option. And especially when you have larger stagings where it's a 2-truck staging.
Yep.
If you don't have 2 trucks as a stager, you got to come back, reload and go, or you rent a truck and load it, et cetera. So this is a really great option. Anything else our viewers need to know about? And those of you watching, do you guys have any questions for Jim that he can answer while he's live? And of course, this is being recorded. It'll all be uploaded up on our sites. But anything else that's really, really important for us to know? I have a question. Is the person who rents the vehicle or picks it up from you guys, like if it's me and I'm paying for it, I'm not driving that truck. I have driven the trucks, but I probably would send one of my movers. So is the person that picks it up, do they have to put their driver's license? I'm like, how does that work?
So
like, they're not paying for it, I am.
Yeah, on there you can have the driver book the truck themselves, or you can book it for them and add them as a driver to your account.
Okay, perfect.
And so you can book it. They'll whoever's driving the truck still needs to upload their driver's license in there. And we do a verification on who they say they are, and then do an MVR poll just to make sure that they meet our insurance requirements on there. But then that takes less than a couple minutes.
Cool. And if you know anything about trucks too, the whole Department of Transportation, and if it's the gross volume weight, if it's 26,000 pounds or under, you don't have special licensing. But I get these people hounding me like, you need to pay to have drug testing and everything on your drivers. I'm like, they're not CDL. They're not at that level. So quit hounding me. I made the mistake of getting sucked into that 2 years in a row and paid things I didn't have to pay. But there's a lot of hidden fees with owning or leasing a truck that we don't always know about. And so just take that off your shoulders. Just take it off your shoulders and use fluidtruck.com.
Absolutely. I mean, staging a house and trying to figure out how to get the right look is hard enough as it is. Running a fleet business on the side of that is a giant pain. Simplify your life and focus in there. And I always find that when you, as a business owner, when you eliminate distractions and you focus on your whole company, you do a much better job. And that's what we're really out there to do, is give a simple, easy solution so you don't have to worry about managing, maintaining a fleet, and you go out there and focus and stage the house and drive value and help people sell their homes.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you to send me more info that I can send out to our members. I would love that. And those of you that are watching, fluidtruck.com is the website. You can download the apps. We'll be hopefully getting the partnership with IAHSP. I would love for you guys to be with us. You can come to New Orleans. We need trucks to.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a fun time. Like, Nolans is great, and things are opening up. We're meeting back in person again, so Absolutely. It's so exciting.
And we have a year, so it'll be, which is going to go by so fast, but we've got plenty of time to plan it. And I'm excited because I know my husband and son went there, I think last year for a real estate conference, but I haven't been there in 30 years. I went for a medical, like occupational health and environmental safety type conference at the thing. And I remember a few things about Bourbon Street and the city, but I'm sure it's greatly changed. So I'm looking forward to going. It'll be fun. And we definitely have we have a big vendor expo, so everybody's there. I mean, you could even maybe have you could even have a truck. I mean, I'm picturing all sorts of stuff for your space. So we'll definitely talk.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Yeah. And we're live in New Orleans, so we can definitely get a truck down to you down there. And, look forward to working with you guys. And, more importantly, it's like, helping people grow their business. And we're excited to be a huge supporter of small businesses. So. That's
awesome. And one more question. If something happens and I'm driving, like we drive the truck and something happens, like we get in an accident or whatever, how do you handle that? Is the insurance under my insurance, or how does that work?
I mean, you can opt in for our insurance, or you can also take off your personal policy. So you can run either way, but we have a 24-hour support line. So if there's an issue, call a support line. They're getting the tow trucks out and helping you get into another truck to get you on your way.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited, and I wish I would have known about you really like 3 or 4 years ago. I think you were just ramping up. But as business grows, we do need to talk offline too, because of the rental aspect that we're doing with other stagers, and we're not providing that moving service for them, so they have to get their own things. And this is actually a really great partnership for that. Those of you watching, I know some stagers you're allowing other stagers to rent from your inventory, and so if that's the case, I decided I'm not doing deliveries and stuff because it's just not cost effective. We don't really make any money on that, but this is a great opportunity for stagers to be able to rent third party from a company that doesn't provide that, but be able to pick up the things on their own in a cost affordable way so that they can still win business. So this is actually really, really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And
Jenny,
anybody have any, yep. And yeah, anybody have any questions for them? Just put it in the comments. Jim and Emily, it's the Home Staging Talk page and group. So people put comments and you guys can respond, and I'll do my best to respond as well. There are, again, 2 pages that we're streaming to, so I'm not sure where all the comments are coming in from, because that's how good old Facebook does it. But appreciate you being on, and we'll have you back, and we'll be hopefully formalizing the partnership, and just great to meet another Denverite. So why did you guys have power problems? Your power is out where you were this morning?
Yeah, the transformer Excel was out here fixing the power this morning. So I have no idea what was happening. They knocked it all out here at I-25 and I-70. So
where are you located? Where's your
right at the corner of I-25 and I-70 is our HQ. So
we're literally, our warehouse is really close to you. We're at 84th and 25.
Okay.
We're at 58th and 25. So we just moved up, and so if you get off there, there's like the AFW is on one side, and then the Regis. We're in that business park, our warehouse. So we'll have you come over and
absolutely
have a meeting if we could. Well, good. Well, thanks so much. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
And yeah, you bet. Yeah, thank you. All right. So with that. That is our show for today. We will be back with another live show. Hopefully next week I'll have Paloma on, and we'll be able to talk all about what's happening around the globe. Paloma is our global operations director for IAHSP, and she's younger than I am and has the energy. And I mean, I still have a lot of energy, but she's really focused on the home staging industry globally, and we just really appreciate all she's doing with IAHSP Europe, with Sonia and Verena. We love them as well. It's sometimes being a leader in an association or in the industry, sometimes we can feel like it's an unpaid position for all intents and purposes. Nobody's making a ton of money off doing that, really. You do it because you love the industry and you love serving people, and you realize there's a need. So to know that there's younger people that are willing to step in and step up and help take the industry forward is really, really important. So I'm excited to hear what Paloma has to share about that, plus the course in Brazil and other places that we are launching. And then, of course, we want to have Sonia on with the European leaders to talk about the upcoming conference, because you guys we just love hearing them anyway, but we want to, promote that and get some really good attendance. Let's help support our colleagues overseas. And again, the travel restrictions, just look into that. That's a concern of yours. For example, this is from an overseas vendor partner. This is Couture Cashmere. And so they have wonderful, I love wearing theirs. So this is just a shawl or a vest, or it has little arm sleeves. So it's this red color, but it has the fur, which I love. So those who like things like that. We even have clothing for stagers to help you stage yourself. That's Couture Cashmere, is one of our vendor sponsors. And Kathy Connolly, hopefully, I'm not sure if she's planning on going to Portugal. Hopefully she will be there. She's always a fun person to be around. Always has amazing everything from, scarves and wraps and purses and other things that she loves to show off, and makes us all look fabulous when we put it on. Because you can put this on over some ordinary outfit, like my winter uniform, which is my mock turtleneck top, and then dress it up, make it look fabulous. So we'll see you next week, and just stay tuned. Look for the promotions online to know who and when the show will be on. And until then, have a great rest of your week. Go ahead and comment in the comment section. We'll continue to respond to that. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me privately as well. JENNIE at IAHSP.com. Jenny at IAHSP. Thanks, you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.